Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, the strugztips. So recently, I had a meeting with two female brands who are looking to partner to come together because they do similar things and they're friends, and they're looking to come together to run a mega business. But they had a little bit of concerns here and there. So that actually informed my decision to talk about this topic today, which is the buy and sell agreement. So remember to like my video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification button below. A buy and sell agreement is a legally binding contract between co-owners of a business. It can also be referred to as a buyout agreement. Okay, let me break it down for you. The main reason why you need a buy and sell agreement in a partnership, with co-owners of a business is because it governs situations in case someone dies, someone decides to leave the business. We all know what a prenuptial agreement is in marriage, right? We love love. Me, I love love where we're low. So when you're marrying a billionaire, be it female or the male partner, usually people advise, or their lawyers advise them to make sure that the other partner signs a prenuptial agreement to protect you, the other spouse, from taking all their money or clearing out all their money. Anyways, this is the same thing as a buy and sell agreement in business. So you have this agreement that stipulates that if one party dies, if one party decides to leave, if anything happens, that your equity in the business goes to the other party or partners, as the case may be. And then it also informs the partners or your co-business owners that if you die or if something happens, who now takes care of your heirs? So this is like a business will, right? It's like a business will that states what happens, what happens to the estate, what goes to your children, that make sure that the company remains together, that outsiders don't take equity from the business. So basically, it's protecting each other. Like I informed you guys earlier on about the female brands that are trying to pull together. They had the concern that they are friends. They don't want going into business to spoil their friendship, because when money is involved, usually strikes begin to happen. So they were really concerned, like, madam, how would this thing happen and stuff like that. So having a buy and sell agreement actually helps because it defines everything before you enter into business with a person. Buy and sell agreements can always take two forms: the cross purchase plans and the entity redemption plans. But then there's always a third option, the hybrid fashion. Let me indicate you further. The cross purchase plans is a situation whereby the co-owners or partners to a business take out an insurance policy on each other. So they pay the annual premiums on the policy, and each owner or partner becomes a beneficiary to the insurance policy. So in a situation where something happens, or a partner dies, or decides where a partner dies anyways, the surviving owner or surviving partner can now take out that, can now use the death life insurance policy to purchase the equity that the dead partner had in the business, right? And then you can now use that to purchase the equity, and then use the remaining ones to give the head, depending on the terms and obligations that are found within the buy and sell agreement by both parties or owners or partners or owners to that business. So the second is the entity redemption plan that I talked about earlier on. So an entity redemption plan is a situation whereby each owner or partner of the business makes an arrangement, comes into an arrangement with the business that in an event anything happens or any of the partners dies, that their equity in that business will go back to the business. So in this situation now, the business takes out a life insurance policy on the owners or partners to that business. So the difference here is that in the first version, the cross purchase plan, right? The partners take out, or owners take out, a life insurance policy on each other, and then both parties are also beneficiary to the policy, to insurance policy. But in the entity redemption plan, the business itself takes out the insurance policy and pays the annual premiums on those policies. So in an event, one of the partners or owners dies, right? The deceased party, his stocks and shares in that company goes to his heir or estate. Then the business now uses the life insurance policy. They now take that out to now buy back the share and equity that the deceased owner had in that business. So it secures the business as a whole. So going into that kind of arrangement, so you have to decide your partners or the co-owners of the business which you guys want to do. If you want the business to actually pay for the life insurance policy, or you want to take out a life insurance policy on each other or on the multiple owners of that business and then become beneficiaries, whichever works for you is fine. But usually most parties always say that it's very important. So no party defaults on the payment, the annual premium payment. So most times, most businesses or most partnerships usually opt for the entity redemption plan. And then the last option I talked about, possible last option, is the hybrid version, the hybrid plan. I'm sure by now you guessed. So it's a combination of the cross purchase plan and the entity redemption plan. So most companies are they like this because it's a mix of the two. So the owner is required to offer his or her interest in the business to the entity. So most times, some of the partners or co-owners might decide to buy out some of the interest, right? While the partnership itself, the business in itself, will buy the remainder. So it's a mixed match. It's a business, it's a partnership. That's why it's a buy-sell agreement. You decide, you the owners, co-owners, or the partners decide how you want to run it and what you want to do to secure yourself and your business. I always advise business owners in a partnership entity that the same way they take out, they put aside money to pay their taxes, right? At the end of the year, that's the same way they should also take out insurance policy in terms of protecting the business. In terms of having a buy-sell agreement is super important. Sometimes people are not even informed. You might have legal counsel, you might seek legal counsel of someone that does not even realize that they can advise or they should advise you to do that. Then that's where strugztips come into play. So if you want to know how or get more information on this, just hit me up now. We have limited time on what I can say here and how I can best advise to you. But these are the few tips I can give to you to help protect your business if you are in a partnership entity. So I'm going to tell you what works and what actually makes a good sale agreement. So if you don't come to me, you go to a different lawyer, you can always stipulate that, oh, I really want this or that, this clause or that clause to form part of my buy-sell agreement, because that protects you and that also protects your co-owners business. The key elements to a good buy-sell agreement are: 1, valuation clause. It's everything. Valuing your company's assets and knowing your company or business worth also informs a lawyer in terms of drawing up the buy-sell agreement. Why is that? We're all in business to grow, right? So the value of your business can never remain the same. It will continue to change, it will continue to either go up or go down depending on the market at that point in time. So it's important to get a professional to value your business worth at every point in time, because this actually helps good co-owners of the business know what they're doing and what the shares that they have or the interest that they have in that entity, in that business, to know what they have, to know the proceeds that come out of the life insurance policy, to know what life insurance policy to take out, right? So having a value on your business helps you make an informed decision on what life insurance policy to actually take out and pay for. And it also helps you decide if the business should pay for it or if the co-owners individually should take out life insurance policy on each other or one another. Secondly, funding the buy-sell agreement. I know I've been saying things like life insurance policy, so you might just assume that that's the only option. No, that's not the only option, just that that's the safer option. You have another option, which is installment payment by each party to the buy-sell agreement. Because most times, don't just assume that an event something happens that all partners of the business might have the money 100% to buy out the other person's interests, in that business. No, don't make that assumption. It's always important to plan ahead, have a safe landing or soft landing. I always call it soft landing. Have a soft landing when issues like this arise, because in business you never know what will happen, what the future holds. So funding the business, apart from the life insurance policy, taking out that, and also instrumental payments, which is not very guaranteed. Try, other options. Decide, at the end of the day, it's your agreement. Decide how you want it to be, but just make sure that funding the buy-sell agreement is a guaranteed option. I always advise everybody, all my clients, to use the life insurance policy. I think that's the safest. Thirdly, identifying the parties. For there to be a buy-sell agreement, there must be a buyer and there must be a seller. So irrespective of the fact that there are multiple partners or multiple co-owners of the business, not every partner might actually want to take your own equity in that business. So if the business does not want to assume the equity of the deceased partner or the partner that wants to leave, right? It's on the partner that wants to leave or that dies to decide what they want to do with the equity that they have in that business. So who they want to sell it to within the business, which of the partners they want to actually own the equity in that business, whether they want the business to assume the equity or they want to sell it to a particular partner or co-owner. So at the end of the day, there must be an agreement, but for a buy-sell agreement to happen, two parties within that business must actually come to an agreement for there to be a valid buy-sell agreement. Fourthly, identifying qualifying events. What do I mean by qualifying events? Events that can actually trigger buyouts. Death, illness, divorce, retirement. It's important to have a sit down with partners, either an outside buyer, whoever it is that you want to actually buy the equity to the business. You should have a sit down to actually know what will trigger the buyout. Okay. Another reason, I think one of the major reasons too, in an event of a death that that helps this kind of arrangement or this kind of agreement is the fact that you need to make sure that the buy-sell agreement actually coordinates with the deceased person's estate plans, because you don't want to get caught up in family disputes or squabbles amongst the deceased owner's heirs. You don't want to get caught up in that and then everything gets messed up. So you need to make sure that the buy-sell agreement actually coordinates with all the partners or co-owners of the business with their estate plans, as relates to their shares of equity within that business. Last but not the least, tax considerations. It's imperative to note that proceeds from buying and selling ownership in the business has its own tax liability. They're taxable. So I always inform people or advise people to work with a certified public accountant to inform you to structure your buy-sell agreement in such a way that it minimizes tax liability on the proceeds from acquiring or buying out equity or shares from another partner or co-owner. If not, most times you find out that you spend almost all your money or profits, paying tax, and it just doesn't make sense. So seeking professional help and working with an accountant, a certified accountant, can always help advise you to structure the buy-sell agreement in such a way that it favors you and you're not taxed hugely on the proceeds of that sale. Understand that a buy-sell agreement can be a bit complicated, right? So you would always need the help of a legal counsel to sort that out. But till I come your way next time with much more interesting and educating topics, please remember to like my video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification button below. Stay safe with the Lord.